call this meeting of the Macon County Commissioners to order, and we'd like to welcome each of you and express to you we're glad you're here. As always, we have public comment, and we have a public hearing tonight, so if you want to speak to any one of those, either a public comment or a public hearing, you would need to have signed up. We have a couple of people already, but if you didn't sign up, we'll give you the opportunity to do that. As far as announcements, do we have any announcements? Mike, or Mr. Manager? There. Thank you, sir. Okay. I do have one, just for full disclosure. We did on the Parker Meadows property, the excavator, the graders did uncover what is believed to be a burial site, a single burial site. And with respect to that, we had the state archaeologist come out, and we did contact the Eastern Band and make sure that we were being respectful in handling this situation. So we were able to set up a meeting actually today, and our county manager was able to go to that. Our Vice Chairman, Ronnie Beal, who is on the Cherokee Preservation, so he has a good relationship with them. And also we asked Senator Jim Davis to go. So that meeting went very well. Met with the chief, had some good dialogue, and we do have several options for resolution. And so the project is moving forward, not on that particular site until we get some resolution about exactly what to do. But Derek, would you like to comment on that?
We had some very positive discussion, and the project is still moving forward. And at the end of the day, we just hope to be able to reach an agreement that allows us to continue moving forward with the project while preserving our relationship and preserving just the fact that we have had such a long-standing and good working relationship with the Eastern Band. We want to be very respectful of that site, as we are aware of the role that their culture has played in our county.
And Ronnie, you were there, you want anything?
Well, just, and nothing we didn't tell the chief of the Eastern Band that as far as the county goes, we met our obligation. Our obligation from the state archaeological really has the final say-so because of our agreement. But as like the manager said, after you've been down this road a lot, so after a while you learn that the best thing to do is have full disclosure, have it with the, and the only time to disclose it, we had not had a chance to discuss it with the chief and the elders of the Eastern Band. So now he's going to be with the elders, and then we meet with the chief at the end of next week. He will come and probably some of the elders will come and use the website. We anticipate we'll have a good solution to come out of the situation.
Okay.
Just a full disclosure, you said.
We just want to let you know, you might hear rumors to that effect, and we'll go ahead and confirm it. So I think we are certainly moving forward, and according to the manager, that the project was moving forward as of today, so we're still working on it. No other announcements. We'll stand for a moment of silence, and then we'll ask Commissioner Tate if you lead us in our pledge of allegiance. Stand.
As we take our moment of silence, let us remember a patriarch from Macon County, not only our chairman's father, but a great leader of Macon County, Mr. Harold Ford. So remember that name.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated. We have scheduled tonight a one public hearing that is required for the Community Development Block Grant project closeout. And John Fay is here, our housing director. So we declare that this public hearing open. And John, if you would.
I'm going to First off, apologize for having to go through this situation again. The verbiage in the public notice that was approved by folks in Raleigh turned out that they made a glitch in that. So they have asked that we do this one more time. The lady that I'm working with is someone who I've worked with very well. She's been very helpful to us. So therefore I'm here again. The information remains the same. We rehabilitated 7 homes. We expended $232,329.67 of those rehabilitations. Out of the local option portion, which is basically how we do some of our urgent repairs, we expended $38,307.05 in urgent repair in 19 homes. The total grant expended was $270,636.72. There was $400,000 of funds available. Just so that everybody understands, these are not funds that are given to us, but basically funds that are held in Raleigh and were reimbursed for the expense. The balance, there was a balance left on the available funds, and that balance was due because of the limited size of the housing department. We don't have the capacity to do $400,000 worth in this period of time. So I feel very good about what was accomplished in the fall.
Okay. Like I say, we covered this one time. Okay, it's okay. Any questions or clarifications? Anybody else to speak to? Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
If you're not, we'll declare the hearing closed and check what we need to do.
If there's any action to take other than just to
And we have to put that in, and that will be recorded in the minutes. For a public comment time, we do have a couple of people signed up. Mr. Doug Woodward. Doug, glad to have him here tonight. And you tried to call me a couple of times, I tried to call you. We've been phone tag, but we'll talk now.
Sure. I appreciate the
Microphone
work.
up, there, thank you.
Okay, so better. I appreciate the words on Harold Corbin. I think he embraced all of us over the years. Again, what I would speak on briefly tonight is something I don't consider a political issue, really, and that is, SB 786, which the governor recently signed into law, and I'm only going to address one small part of it because I think you'll hear from a lot of people as time goes on. This is an issue that has caused concern to many, and I'm not going to debate the merits and the drawbacks of this. I understand Mr. Edens investigated this a little more thoroughly, and I would say that the section 14 of this law, which tends to squelch any local ordinances, resolutions, and so forth, is something that's just downright un-American. And about 30 years ago, there was a local resolution of the same time that would have shut down public comment on certain issues. And several of us voted, and back then Cecil Poindexter was one of the commissioners, and after listening to it, he decided that this was just something that wasn't right. And so that was voted down at that time. And despite what section 14 says, which is prohibiting these ordinances, I understand from Amy Beeson, the Commissioner Association of State Attorney, that Orange and Durham counties have passed resolutions. Last Thursday, the town of Webster passed a very strong resolution against any right in that area. There was a court decision at Dryden, New York, Monday, a little over a week ago, which was the culmination of 3 New York Supreme Court decisions and a lot of states in the country are waiting on this. They to prohibit fracking in this case, which is their concern. So I would just like to leave it at that, and I would encourage all of you to investigate as thoroughly as possible the implications of this law and, you know, what it could do to us, even if there is nothing that goes wrong with it. Right? Still, you've got the well edge, you've got huge towers, and it's just something that doesn't belong in our mountains. So, thanks for listening.
I was just gonna ask you real quickly, Doug, were the actions taken by, you said Orange County, Durham County, as well as the town of Webster, was that resolutions or were those ordinances?
They were resolutions, which, as you well know, are quite different.
A little bit.
So,
I'm mistaken, Ms. Basin would probably be pretty up to speed on what was and what was not. Did you find for helpful?
well, actually, we played phone tag also, and I did go into detail with the question I was asking. And she again left a message with those two counties, you know, and taking action. Because they're in the middle of the most known area of oil and gas producing shale right now.
Just a little update on the meetings, if y'all don't know. There's a series of meetings happening across the state. Well, when they got to West North Carolina, they run out of money. So the closest meeting to us is 4.5 hours away. But I think that is changing maybe real quickly. We did talk to the senator today, who co-sponsored this legislation. He didn't assure us, but he certainly said that they would be every opportunity to have a meeting closed. In a way, because you will have a huge crowd, and he knows that. So, but he's working to have us a meeting. We just felt, a lot of us felt, and the people that contacted me, a lot of people on this board, that we should be able to have a meeting in West North Carolina also. So I think you'll see that.
I think we should.
I do.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, thanks. We have Mr. Rich Robb is here and wants to discuss the subject of safety.
Well, not necessarily want to talk about safety, but this one thing that I want to say is, we've got a situation, and I just want to go on record that somebody's going to get hurt one day at the intersection of Net Hill and Macon City Road. There's a situation that's come up there in the last year, maybe a little longer, 2 years. Nobody takes care of the driveway, we'll say, up above us. There is no culvert under the road on Macon City Road. And all the water that comes down that ditch runs out onto the road. Well, that's fine, Danny, water will run away. But what's laying there right now is probably a wheelbarrow load of gravel and sand and scattered all over. Some motorcyclist is going to get hurt on that before it's over. And I just want somebody here to put some pressure on somebody to fix that. And that's all I want. That's the only safety part I have.
That's in Cowee.
Yes, yes,
That's in Cowee.
yes.
And you said that's the intersection of what?
Ned Hill and Macon City.
Oh, Net Hill.
And there actually is no culvert. Now, that's kind of, well, I have to say it, it's kind of stupid that there was even a
If
paved
you come
road.
across Ned Hill, Macon City turns up from the driveway to the left, correct?
Right.
If you're coming,
So, yes. That's the only thing I want to do.
Okay.
Put it on record.
Appreciate that. You're not the only one. I've seen some other places. I think I may have brought something. I got a hold of the deal with something out there around Holly Springs a year or so ago. That's the same thing.
Yeah. It's just a matter of contacting the DOT, which we can certainly do, or private citizens can certainly do, but we will definitely pass that on to,
But they listen to you guys more than
Okay.
that.
we'll make a phone call. And I apologize, there's one more name on here, and I can't read it, but you know who you are. It's not you, Jim. Who else signed up to speak that hadn't spoken yet?
No, I thought we signed the sheet of course, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, no problem, okay. Is there anybody else that'd like to speak to the board? About anything? I'll leave it out there. Okay, if not, we'll move on. Any adjustments to the agenda? I have one, Tommy Jenkins, our EDC director is here, and he has a lease agreement, I believe, for the industrial park, and we'll need to add that. We can, I don't know if that's considered old business, and I that was before Mike. You guys have prayer before we put that. We need to put it somewhere.
Wherever you want to put it, you can put it in the new world. It's just that the work won't take long.
Okay, let's just make it 9C. Because we have dealt with that before, and we're just a matter of approving that lease, which I believe everybody has a copy of. Is that correct?
There's actually a resolution as well as a lease attached to the resolution. The board would need to declare that particular parcel surplus and then approve the execution.
All right, so okay, we'll make that 9C. Any other business to add or delete?
I got a couple of things. Number one, I'd like to have a chance to go to those things.
Okay, we will do that.
And we'll do that last. And others, thing I just want to address the board about something that I talked to the doctor about today. And we get to that, we probably take 3 minutes.
Okay. Is it, we can do that under reports and presentations if we do the very next thing. Can we do these in the report? Yes.
No, all I'm doing is I just want to make people aware of something. that
Okay.
we'll talk about.
We put it under report. Anything else to add? Delete or change?
And Mr. Attorney, in that closed session, it will be for the same reason, but different purpose, so it covers it all.
It covers it all.
Okay, thank you. Attorney-client. So 2 commissioners have requested attorney-client privilege on 2 different issues, actually. All right, anything else or a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Here none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda stands as amended. Under reports and presentations, Ron Hayden.
Okay, what it was, I talked to Burson on one today about some crisis that he is seeing. He wanted me to mention and address it to the board about the situation of doctors over here and not being as many as we need. And I know that's not a thing that we can do about it. But I know that a person needs medical attention quickly in the emergency room. It's pretty hard to get in. You're talking about Dr. Franks stepped down. They're going to replace actually 1 more, but they were in dire need, really 3 or 4 more doctors. So I just wanted to mention if somebody could steer me of anybody to speak to on this situation, or I actually tried to get him to come up here and just address this stuff about it. I said, because there may be people ask questions that I can't answer, and I don't really know what's going on. But I do know that it takes me a while. I crazy enough to run a chainsaw across my left leg yesterday, and I stayed in emergency room for about 4 hours, but it was so good.
Wow.
So it threw me a limp, and they told me to stay home, but I figured they would see what's going on. But that was a follow-up today. I was talking to him about it, and he was saying how to dress for it, so that was one of the facts.
And I've heard some of that too, Ron. I think the issue is probably not as much emergency room as it is primary care.
Right.
Doctors, and normally, you know, if you have something wrong, you would go to your primary care doctor first. Of course, I think that's people's attention because Dr. Frank's office had, I want to say 3,000 or so patients. With his closing, there's a lot of concern in the community. The other doctors aren't going to be able to afford that. And some of the doctors aren't even accepting patients, so we
I see where the new doctor just came on board.
did.
And I know more missions working with the
Well, I was gonna say-
hospital board in this spot, they're,
They're
and
they do recognize that problem. I don't know where
I
it
gotta
is.
say, those folks who work in emergency room, they caution professionals, right, they got about just under 60 age average. So people in that age, they need more medical attention than somebody usually 16 years old, they probably get hurt. But,
Well, I think we can certainly go on record as expressing our concern.
Right.
The lack of shortage of primary care doctors, and we can express that concern to the board and to medical center.
Right.
We're aware of
I
that.
appreciate your time.
Thank you, Ron. That was all under reports and presentations. Under old business, if you'll recall, our county manager had, as part of his budget presentation, had asked us, in lieu of a raise, I think, to consider giving some additional annual leave. So, county manager, if you would address that, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Just in light of, the employees in the department, the great job they do here, the hard work that they put in and going through me through the budget process, and willing to make sacrifices and willing to work together to get us a number that we can come to the board with in the overall budget. I just, I can't say enough about the employees and the department heads and just how great of an asset they are to this organization. I mentioned that in my budget message, and I would like as just a token of gratitude to the board member by giving each full-time employee an additional 16 hours of leave during the fiscal year 2014.
Is that something we need to acknowledge, or we have to vote on that?
I think it would need to be voted upon by the board.
I would agree.
Clarity given to the fact that it is this fiscal year only at this particular point.
Okay, questions for clarification, or so desire motion? Year before, yeah.
We get for us an extra 2 days.
2 days.
2 days free leave.
And Christmas, this don't replace Christmas.
No, they'll still get their Christmas.
How much is the bag of this, $16?
16.
Is there some reason why it's just this year other than it sounds like a good thing?
It's just, well, the budgetary constraints we were under this year, we weren't able to implement phase 3 of the pay plan. And that was something that the employees were expecting with this fiscal year as phases 1 and 2 of that pay plan review last year. And that was, it was unfortunate that we couldn't get it in this year's budget. So as a token of gratitude, I just ask that the board grant them an additional 16 hours of annual leave.
I'll make a motion to do so.
Okay, motion, we have a second. We have a motion and discussion. Motion and second, any discussion?
Derek, I presume, I'm obviously in favor of our make the motion, but I presume that most of these days off will be absorbed. In other words, say Mike takes 2 extra days off, you want to replace them with temporary. But certain bills you'll have to absorb, and I presume you'll be ready for that in the budget, such as EMS workers, police, sheriff's department,
This
jail.
employees already accrue annual leave on a weekly pay period basis. In other words, I think for an employee 5 years or less, they accrue 3.26 hours per pay period. And all this will be doing is putting an additional 16 hours on top of what
And
they already
realistically, probably
accrued.
we would be taking, it's like, my understanding, it's on, like, on the pay, it's like a bank account.
It's basically taking 16 extra hours and putting it in there.
So they're not required.
Putting it in their bank, right.
Most of them won't. We didn't get four.
You know the total cost on that, Matt?
$411 a year.
You'd have to take each individual employee's salary and.
In actual defense, though, it wouldn't, you're not replacing that employee with time, so that would, it's not actually a net cost for the county. It's just a cost of time off.
It's no different. They accrue vacation every pay period, and like you said, it's a bank. And all it's doing is putting an extra 16 hours of vacation,
In their bank.
of annual leave into that employee's bank.
So I think there would be a dollar cost if, okay, I'm taking 2 days off and you're gonna pay somebody to come in to replace me, yeah, this is adding to your budget. But what you're just saying is, you get an extra 16 hours sometime during the year to take.
Like you said, that basically, we have to fill their shifts in EMS and sheriffs as well. That dollar figure would really come.
It doesn't have to be taken this year, though, that's a rollover.
It goes into your bank, and if you don't take it,
It's a one-time.
You can hold it for retirement, right? A certain number, how many hours can you accumulate?
actually, not to get too complicated, but at about this time each year, if you have a certain number of hours, we reduce you back to that, and those extra hours roll through your sick leave.
Was it 240 or 440?
240, and that's where that retirement angle starts coming.
But you accumulate sick leave until retirement. There's no cap on sick leave.
Okay.
That reverts to retirement.
You get credit in the retirement system for those hours when you retire.
Years of service.
It goes to your years of service.
So it'd be hard to cost it out.
Very expensive.
All right. Any discussion or questions? All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks, sir.
What's the total hour that brings employees to? They got 16 extra, what's the total now that they'll get?
Each employee's different.
They're all
It
different.
depends on how many years you've been here.
Basically, whatever on your pay stub, you have a little bank account, basically set to show you your number of hours you have that you can take annually. And we're just adding 16 hours to it.
In the budget that was proposed, did that already include some annual leave hours?
There would be no monetary figure tied to the annual leave hours in the budget.
But instead of the play plan, did you say we'll give them 8 hours of annual leave already?
No, this
This
was my
year?
recommendation in my proposed budget.
Okay.
All that's doing is confirming that recommendation. We just have to wait till the new fiscal
Okay.
year for the board to approve it.
He recommended it, we didn't take any action. Okay, if there's no other questions. We do have the fencing bid for Parker Meadows Recreation Complex. Lori?
Thank you. On June 3rd of this year, we received formal bids for installing the fencing at Parker, for the purchase of the materials and the installation of the fencing at Parker Meadows. We received 2 bids, and that bid tabulation is in your packet. So tonight, I would be asking you to award the bid to A&T Fence Incorporated in the amount of $223,719.16, because they are the low bidder. And I also would ask that you authorize the county manager to enter into a contract for the fencing between Macon County and A&T Fence Incorporated, as well as an agreement for payment, storage, and delivery of materials that would be like an attachment to the contract. And both of those documents are laid at your desk.
And Mr. Manager, what was the line item we had in the budget estimated for the fencing?
This was right on the money. It was right around 220.
And just note, the next closest bid was about $70,000 difference, so.
I've had a chance for it to read it just now, it was in front of us. How long is this price good for?
Their price is good for 60 days, And that's just as long as we enter into the contract.
So we enter into contract within 60 days, and then they don't do the work.
Delivery of materials, but that's, of course, what's so volatile. And so with that agreement for payment towards the delivery of materials, we can definitely guarantee and lock in, that materials price. So we'll enter into the contract, we'll go ahead and purchase and store them at their facility, and we'll go ahead and buy the materials now. And then, of course, they'll do the work just whenever that falls in line with the project, with the other pieces of this, so.
Your next lowest bid was about 80,000.
Yeah,
This was 223, the next low bid was 306. 83.
When this company goes belly up before we put the fence up, what happens to the money?
Yeah, I think basically in this particular situation, the document that we have prepared was designed to where when they acquire these materials, they are required to segregate them, clearly mark them for property in Macon County.
Even though it's held on their
And
property.
it will be on their property. And they're required to do that basically throughout the purpose. And in fact, we don't pay it until we verify it.
So regardless of what may happen to the company, the material will be secured and be out.
Just, Commissioner Bill, speak to that. Did a little research on this particular company with that question in mind, and they have been in business, family owned for 40 years. They had quite the laundry list.
If you feel around the building business a little bit, you get to ask these questions. Right, Jake?
So clean them up some material.
We explored the possibility of having those materials delivered, but basically, our exploration of that indicated that we have no place to put those. So this is not our first choice, but it's what we come up with.
Well, for the savings, you can't pay the circle tax like that. Motion to approve is presented.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. 9C, Tom Jenkins, we have a resolution and the lease, I think, on the space at Deputy Park. Tom?
Gentlemen, I passed out to each of you a copy of the resolution that would declare the property to be leased under the lease. Did you get one? Now, these are actually for something Mr. Jenkins will be talking to you about. Attached to that resolution is the actual lease itself. You'll note that the last page is marked Exhibit A. We did not have a color copier available to us to mark the various portions of this building the colors mentioned. So I have those here. Yeah, well, you'll see that there's some blue
I
on
see.
this one.
What is gray on ours is blue.
Is blue, correct. And we'll insert those if the board should pass this.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Members of the board. What we've got here is at the Business Development Center, we've got a potential tenant, which is Water Wheel Manufacturing. This group won our 2014 business plan competition this year to the EDC. They do water jet cutting and metal fabrication. Of course, their business plan is going under total review, not only from the EDC, but from the business plan competition judges. And we feel it's a good fit for us. There'll be a year lease on Unit B, which is 3,700 square feet. Where it'll be $2 a foot. We will not be required to make any improvements. So it's for a year lease. Employees, they'll start out with 3 employees. Hopefully grow from there. What they do with their water cutting and fabricate, especially the water cutting, within a radius of 150 miles. There's some really like businesses, so they really
square feet that come, I can't reach it.
3762.
Does that make it build full then?
Yeah, we got all the space.
Great, wonderful.
Is there a product to the water wheel, or is that just?
That's part, he also owns the water wheel manufacturer, or his other company builds water wheels, but he's actually branching out into water jet cutting. He'll use it for his business, but he's branching out into other sectors. He's talking to some folks about cutting granite, tops, countertops and such as that. So he feels like there's good potential. His business plan look good, so he's a known quantity.
We have a motion, take second by Haven, that we approve the resolution and the lease. Is that your motion and second? Any discussion?
He'll be moving in September, Tom.
He starts September 1st. Yes.
Good job.
Any other discussions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Tom. Glad to see that place full out there.
First time in a long time.
Good work.
Just paying people.
New business 10A, Mr. Field.
As we mentioned earlier, at the moment of silence, Sherman lost a father, Dean lost a husband, dad, grandfather, and a real leader in this county in many ways, was Harold Ford. In lieu of that, I'd like to read a resolution board that has been drawn up, that will be read again at the Macon County Folk Festival, which is on the 19th. At that time, it will be presented to Dean and Kevin and Kelly and the family. So with no further ado, I'd like to read the resolution. Whereas preserving the heritage and history of the county of Macon plays a significant role in the lives of citizens of Macon County, and whereas heritage preservation can be instrumental in economic development and tourism in Macon County, and whereas Mr. Harold Corbin, a lifelong resident of Macon County, was a true leader in local efforts to preserve and bring about a new emphasis on the county's cultural history and heritage. Whereas Mr. Corbin was a charter board member of the Folk Heritage Association of Macon County, serving on the executive committee as co-vice president, serving on the planning committee for the Living Heritage Village project, and serving as a member of the Franklin Folk Festival committee. This is a true gentleman, for he will always be remembered as a festival demonstrator with his moonshine and steel exhibit.
And free samples.
And free samples. Whereas Mr. Corbin played a vital role in the establishment of the Folk Festival, an annual celebration of the county's history that draws thousands of people to Franklin and Macon County each year to learn about and enjoy the many and varied aspects of our mountain heritage. And whereas Mr. Corbin dedicated his life to the advancement of Macon County and his people, but never lost touch with his roots. Now therefore be it resolved that the Macon County Board of County Commissioners commends Mr. Harold Corbin for his outstanding contribution to the citizens of Macon County, and in conjunction with the Folk Heritage Association of Macon County, and in deep gratitude for his efforts to preserve the heritage of the county, designate Mr. Corbin as an honorary historian of Macon County, adopted on this 8th day of July 2014. And I put that in the form of motion to be adopted as part of the minutes, and we present the family.
We have a motion and a second. I will abstain from voting on this. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion passes.
I'd love to see that heritage festival named after him. I guess county's around town like that, right?
I guess it does. So that hurts. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. I was aware of that coming. I didn't have anything to do with it, but I appreciate those who did. And on behalf of his family, we thank you. Jim Gray is here, and Jim has a resolution opposing the designation of additional wilderness areas within the Nanahail National Forest in Macon County. So, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Commissioners. I have some additional documents here, and I'm a little short. I've got one for each commissioner, and I don't know who should get the other one, whether it should be Chester or Mike or
County manager probably. Thank you, sir.
As probably most of you know, the Nantahala and Pisgah National Forest Management Plan is being revised. The plan covers parts of 18 counties and covers 1,044,393 acres in those counties. Of that total, 527,697 acres, approximately half, are presently off limits for timber management. 46% of Macon County is in national forest lands. So the process that the Forest Service is going through is identifying additional areas to be included as designated areas or scenery areas. In other words, areas with no timber management. These new areas will be added to the 500,000 acres that are already off limits for timber management. In addition, or included in that newly designated areas, are 2 areas within Macon County, each larger than 5,000 acres. One of them runs on the west side of the ridge from Tellico Gap down to Burningtown Gap. The other one runs from Burningtown Gap south down toward Wyatt Gap. There can also be an unlimited number of areas designated as scenery, and they can be located anywhere that the Forest Service decides. There would be no timber cutting in the scenery areas. The new plan is strongly biased toward mature forest and scenery, in my opinion. There's little consideration for wildlife or for timber jobs. It's well recognized by wildlife agencies and wildlife conservation organizations, such as the Ruffed Grouse Society and the North Carolina Conservation Commission, that the regrowth of timber cut areas is the most productive of all forest lands in producing wildlife due to the increased cover, the increased browse, increased seeds, berries, insects, and whatever. This is a rare situation where utilization of the forest, industry, so to speak, and wildlife both benefit from the efforts of timber cutting. For the above reasons, we're asking the Macon County Commission to approve a resolution opposing any additional lands being removed from the timber management plan. Graham and Cherokee counties have already approved similar resolutions. Okay. Now, I do want to point out that Mike Wilkins, our local supervisor at the district here, has done a really good job. He has cut more timber than almost all of the other supervisors in these 2 Forest Service national forests. The pass outs that I gave out, one is a letter from Congressman Mark Meadows supporting this no additional timber cutting, and the other one is a resolution from the Ruffed Grouse Society. Would you like me to read the resolution into the record? You already have it. It's your call.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Let's come to here, once you read, we have it. I'll get it.
Right. So I would ask you to consider this resolution. The prior plan had about 20% of the forest designated to be cut on a 20-year cycle. In fact, they cut less than 2%. So those of us that are grouse hunters, those of us that deer hunt and that sort of thing in the forest can really see a difference in what's happened over the years as far as the wildlife population. It not only benefits huntable wildlife, but several warbler species that are endangered and other wildlife too.
And let's be clear, what the resolution states is not taking away wilderness area. It's just saying let's don't put any more wilderness that would further restrict timber harvest, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. If the proposal went through the last way I saw it, they would add about another 19% to what's off limits. So then you'd be up to almost 70% of the forest that couldn't be touched. Old growth forest is beautiful. It supports a lot of things, but things like these 2 5,000 acre areas, there's no tourists going to see them. I mean, leaf change season, they're over there on the backside of the ridge above Nantahala Lake, and so far back in there that all it's going to do is create wilderness that'll never be touched.
Mr. Chairman, along with that, the reason that we need to support this, in my opinion, it ties right with it tomorrow in Congress. The payment in lieu of taxes comes back up to the county. Payment in lieu of taxes barely made into the farm bill this year, barely. And it comes back up tomorrow. And so, if we lose the payment in lieu of taxes, which is what, were we 300-something thousand today?
Yeah.
So, we certainly don't want to be restricted to who people can use the farm. And that might be our way to recoup part of the money.
And I have talked to Congressman about this, and I would agree, it's about balance. I think all of us here would agree that we're environmentalists. I certainly am. I want clean air and water and clean those beautiful trees to look at. But it's about balance, and I think that's what the resolution is saying. I don't know that we have this doesn't do anything other than give them our opinion.
Exactly.
We're not resolving to do it. We're resolving help.
No, you really can't, but you're offering an opinion to the National Forest Service. And if I can add one other little thing, I'm 74 years old. Last year, I walked 266 miles grouse hunting in these mountains, okay? That keeps me in the shape that I'm in. And I don't see many people out there from the middle of October to the end of February, you know? It's a time when the mountains are underutilized, except by the loyal grouse hunters of Macon County here. But it really gets some more utilization out of that forest.
And I'll go on record to support you too. I think we should do it. Any other questions or any comments?
Motion approved.
We have motion by Commissioner Hickman, second by Tate. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jim.
We'll get this signed.
There is a Forest Service meeting in Asheville on Thursday that a number of us are going to. Is there any objection to me mentioning this at that meeting?
No, sir.
Okay,
Can we
thank
have
you.
the resolution signed?
I will say we need to sign it.
I'll come by and pick it up tomorrow.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now.
I'll be happy to deliver it to them. Okay, thank you.
We've got it. With all our signatures. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Mr.
The
Attorney.
meeting's not over.
Yeah, we make it
It's
like.
bedtime.
Gotta
get home before dark, you might hit that gravel.
I heard that on the pad here.
He's going to show.
Oh, sure, okay.
I'll second that gravel situation. Mark lives right next door to Rich and Kate. I'm up there all the time. It's a problem.
Sliding down the hill.
I've been to North Dakota, those ringneck beds. So,
Yeah.
Jim, we've got you. Right, Chester, we have the Brian Jones Well Abandonment Agreement. I think we all have received a copy of that.
You had, okay. Just very briefly, I had emailed each of you concerning this well abandonment agreement with Commissioner Brian Jones, just so that you be aware of it, have opportunity to look at it, ask any questions that you might have this evening before we ask for you to approve.
thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, guys. Keep your eyes
Thank you.
Motion to approve. Is that in order?
I think that would be in order, and to authorize your chairman to execute something on behalf of it.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize. Who makes it?
Commissioner Tate.
Mr. Tate.
The next item is the amendment to interlocal agreement and resolution regarding the Veteran Transportation Project. Jess, do you have that?
I'll be happy to take it.
I'm here.
I delivered to
Okay.
each of you a package this evening. And the reason for doing so is your interlocal agreement. That was a draft document, and there were some blanks for information that Ms. Angel had to provide to me. She provided that to me, and we in turn put that information in. So wherever you see a blank on your agenda package, the numbers have been filled in on those blanks. Let's see, Ms. Angel. Long and short of it, what Ms. Angel has been able to accomplish, as you recall, this is the Veterans Transportation Project that originally started with Macon County, Clay County, Cherokee County, and Swain County. And there had been some discussion about the possibility of adding some additional counties. It worked out through Ms. Angel's efforts to include Jackson County. Jackson County wants to come in at this point in time, is my understanding. The other counties that were a part and parcel of the original interlocal agreement, as well as the state of Franklin, Inc., basically have decided they would like to include Jackson County. This will enable several things. First, it will enable Jackson County to be a part of this project and to provide similar services of veterans transportation for veterans there. Second, it will increase the geographic area to include Jackson County into the overall geographic area. And third, we don't see this happening often, but there was enough money in the grant to basically enable this to happen and include Jackson County, but more importantly, when Jackson County was included, the effective out-of-pocket costs for each county actually dropped by adding Jackson. That document is in that pile of attachments. There is a resolution to approve that document if you're so inclined. And as was the case when we presented the original interlocal agreement, it was my responsibility to disclose to you and to Clay County, because I do legal work for both, that theoretically we have a conflict of interest, but I'll tell you, these changes are a product of what Kim Angel has provided me to do. I'm attempting to memorialize what Kim is asking to do, and she has already worked those issues out with her counterparts in the various counties. Is that not correct?
Clay County has already accepted the changes. The state of Franklin has accepted the changes. Jackson County voted yesterday to come in, so we know they're good to go. Their money's in their budget, which should be received from their share today. If we get ours done tonight, the only one we have is Jackson County, and they should vote later this month. So all the partners and their boards, their respective boards, are all on this bill.
And if you'll recall, we did a request for proposals for the actual equipment needed for this, and at the time that went out, we basically had an option, or requested an option to be able to purchase additional equipment at those same set prices for Jackson County if needed.
If this should ever be one of, everyone want to amend, if Jackson County wants to amend this for some reason, everybody has to be in agreement, but as us, as a procuring agent, can we do it? Can we amend it, or everybody has to be in agreement?
Everybody will have to be in agreement.
No one county can say, I'm going to do it my way, and
In fact, the way this particular matter is structured, Macon County, i.e. Kim Angel, is sort of the lead agency, if you will, and is leading the group, and the other parties are basically responsible under this agreement.
we asked that question before one time, and we just wanted to make sure that.
And it remains the same, really, that, the whole premise is our cost share is lower, our measurement, because of adding back.
So do you need a motion to amend?
We would need a motion to approve this resolution that I prepared, which references these amendments. Yes.
got it, Bob.
Yeah, Ron Hagan made a motion, do we have a second? Second by Tate. Any discussion? None discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Ken.
Thanks, Ken.
Just for your information, it is underway, they're here this week.
Oh, good.
With Parker County, so.
Appreciate it, Ken, you worked hard at that. Thanks.
Ken, Richard's agreement.
Oh,
Judge, you got the next item, the ratification of the telephone and email poll regarding cancellation of deed of trust for hospitals.
Yes. Back on, I don't remember the date of this. I'll get that for you in just a minute. June 30th, I got a telephone message from Attorney Steve Philo. It indicated that he was working with Mr. and Mrs. Ranger Thompson in connection with a loan refinance arrangement. And in the course of doing his title examination, he learned that Macon County was holding a deed of trust in connection with Mr. and Mrs. Thompson's property. This was a result of the scattered housing program that I think Mr. Dave was talking to you all a little bit about from years gone back. As you may or may not be aware, when improvements are done under those programs, basically the owner gives a promissory note and secures it with a deed of trust against the property where the housing is being rehabilitated, if you will. In this particular case, under this program, after so many years, the loan is deemed forgiven. If they stay there, basically continue to pay their taxes and, comply with insurance obligations and others. In this particular situation, Mr. and Ms. Thompson's deed of trust probably should have been canceled sometime before now because the time for it to be forgiven had in fact passed. They were in a situation where they didn't get that deed of trust canceled before yesterday or by yesterday. My understanding, they would lose their loan commitment and be put to that hardship. When I got that information, I emailed each of you to basically see if you would be agreeable to the chairman to go ahead and cancel that deed of trust upon confirming the information that you need to be confirmed. I got responses from each of you indicating that to be the case, and I got confirmation of the information that needs to be confirmed. I felt it would be appropriate though tonight for the board to simply ratify the cancellation. And you've got a copy of that as part of the original.
Motion by Commissioner Tate, with a second.
Second.
Hagan, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Lori, resolution changing due date and room occupancy tax.
Yes, sir. As included in your packet, there was a resolution changing the due date of Macon County room occupancy tourism development tax. This resulted from one of my employees viewing a webinar and learned that the due date is actually going to change from the 15th to the 20th. So that's all this resolution does, is those that have to collect this occupancy tax will get to the county now have it on the 20th of each month.
And that's your recommendation?
Yes.
Motion by Hagan, second by Tate. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
I've got a question on that point about that. We had discussed some of these cottages and cabins over this. Have there been any thing changed on some of the regulations of some of those other cottages?
You mean have we seen more coming in?
Yeah. Have there been any registered, I guess, is what I'm saying? I know
I'm not sure.
when we talked about some of that,
I think the notice is going out, is it this month. What we decided to do to try to save money, the tax department was already sending out a notice relative to our county website, which has the, the registration form, remittance form, and kind of links them to the law.
Because I know
Lays
that
out.
TDC had asked me to bring that
Right.
to the attention.
So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's this month that hasn't gone out already,
Okay.
to notify, to let, just the general public know that,
At one time, we hired a person just to find those. Like 7 years ago, we hired a person just to find those. He was fairly successful in finding them, but getting them to pay was a different issue.
Large system.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
It's kind of like any other tax, because not only do these owners have to remit and collect the manufacturing tax, they're also supposed to be collecting and remitting North Carolina sales tax to the North Carolina Department of Revenue. So
Okay, thank you, Lord. Grant project ordinance and budget amendment number 3 for housing department.
yes, each year the housing department gets what we refer to as weatherization and park money, in order for them to, rehabilitate, certain aspects of homes, whether it be the heat, air, possibly refrigerators, et cetera. So this is just to appropriate the allocation that's been awarded for this current fiscal year. So the grant for the project ordinance establishes it, and then of course the budget amendment is just more the details. So I'm just asking that you approve both of those, and we're covering this funds for.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second by Tate. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. We have to put in our minutes, each county has one vote at the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners annual conference. That is in Asheville this year. The dates are scheduled me.
14, 15, 16.
August. Yeah. And, like the motion. Wasn't sure it was important. Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? And I will be attending. I've already, I think our county manager signed me up, didn't he? Yeah. So I'm glad to be there. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. The last thing is the continuation of work first electing county status. Mr. Manager, you have that in the board?
This is something we've done since fiscal year 11-12, basically a continuation of what social services. It has to be approved by the board before August. With this, we'll go ahead and prepare that document change, and we'll have that before the board.
And that is Jane's recommendation. I had talked to her about that.
We're one of the few elected counties left.
That's right. And it's been very successful in Macon County. It's really good thing. So I would suggest it.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. Gentlemen, consent agenda, all of you have been presented with that. Includes the minutes of June 12th, June 16th meetings. 2 budget amendments, 1 and 2, and any tax releases or monthly ad valorem tax collection report. This will be approved by one motion on the second if you so desire. So, motion by Commissioner Tate, with a second by Bill. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. Under appointments, the Airport Authority. As you know, my father is a long-standing member of that authority. We have the sad duty to replace him on that. And there's a letter in there somewhere from Miles Gregory. As you know, Mr. Harold passed away recently, creating a vacancy on the Airport Authority. He was a personal friend, huge asset to the Airport Authority. Difficult to think about replacing the position. But they wanted to say that they're recommending Mr. Richard Rhodes for that. And if you take your liaison, is that acceptable to you? That's correct. That's the motion. Second. We have a motion and a second to appoint Richard Rhodes to the Airport Authority. Any discussion? I would say that Richard is very active with the airport and will bring a lot to the table. Is an active pilot. And I I think he's someone that my father would approve to take his seat, so. All in favor of Mr. Rhodes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. And now we have the Community Advisory Committee for Long-Term Care.
Mr. Chairman, as liaison to the Long-Term Care Committee, you see that Pam Goldsmith and the Reverend Gene Hawkins have done a wonderful job with this committee. If you don't know what this committee does, they're very active in the nursing homes. They did a complaint arising about this committee. This committee is called and for other reasons. So I would definitely make a motion that we reappoint both Pam Goldsmith and Reverend Gene Hawkins as Community Advisory Committee.
We have a motion, second by Hayden, and my understanding both these have agreed to.
Yes, sir.
Serve, so yes, we do. Any discussion about that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Is there any other business? We do have a request from two of our commissioners for a closed session, which, hearing no other business, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
For the purpose of serving attorney-client privilege at 5 West Main Street. Did someone second that motion?
I did.
Okay. All in favor, aye?
Lisa, do you have something you need to talk about?
Oh,
Not at all.
Let me say
Glad to
this,
be here.
Lisa told me she was coming out. Lisa's here representing Duke Power.
Thank you,
And,
Lisa, for coming.
She's been, just coming to support us in our meetings and
Exactly.
let us know she's here.
Excellent. Thanks. It's been a pleasure.
Glad you're here.
Thank you.
And I anticipate no action with that fair to say. Thank you.
How are you?
What we collect. Send it to you. Yeah, I have one with the county. Yeah, I have one with the county. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no problem.
These are the two things I handed out.
Okay, yeah. Andy's gonna do like a big blowout.
I'm just gonna do it for you.
It's gonna look
How's the
like
guy?
that.
Connection with them.
What's wrong with your arm? You just unburnt, whatever? You unburnt.
She tells us about it every day, but I can't put her in the paper. So how that goes.
I look forward to it.
Thank you very much.
They know they had long road.
Oh, yeah. So now audit season, you know. Oh.
They do good?
Ready for the auditors. So it's just like.
Hey, Ryan. Yes, sir. How you doing? Good, sir. How are
Hey,
you?
Ryan.
Who's Bill? How's that?
I see you.
I guess they're not going to adjourn?
I'm telling you. July.
Okay.
Did you get my email?
I saw that.
You got your calendar
I don't know. What day you're saying?
July 29th.
That's why I don't have a few there.
3 weeks
It's really,
from today.
and there's bad family situations, it's a bad everything. It all, people want to always blame something. They want to blame bad parents, they want to blame bad schools, they want to blame bad law enforcement or whatever. It's a combination of everyone gets a bad situation all around.
But the amazing thing is, some of them just never happen. You know, some of them come
Maybe we had other conflicts.
then you got others that, you know, they just get in trouble, and they get kicked out or whatever.
They go home 2 weeks later.
And it's just like, and they drive us crazy.
I'll
We'll
send
take
out
away
confirmation.
from them. They said we're trying to discipline them.
Everybody else is good.
It's not really.
What do you think about that bill that's signed? She wanted it more, we don't pay dollars.
The ones that want to be there, we really work with them. Such as it is.
Oh, that's ugly. They haven't adjourned.
But it wasn't for that though.
There's a method to my madness.
Y'all wanna, and, you know,